Okay, Mr. Bill Kinison, the man, my man, their man.
You know,
It's your time.
I'm sitting here thinking of how Ed McMahon used to introduce Johnny Carson every night.
Yeah.
All that excitement. Yeah, here's Johnny. No, I get, well, time for my man, my man.
No, I was more excited than that.
Well, good morning to you, and God bless every one of you, and welcome to the Gospel According to Kinison, and I am your man and Sherry's man, and I am the host, the illustrious host of this great program that I don't know of any other program like this, Sherry. I really don't. It's not religious. I don't know. It's not just success. I'm an influencer.
And nobody has the fun that we have.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably true.
Good morning, Derek Kustra, Valerie Jasso, Sharon Stein.
Break a leg to Valerie Jasso today.
No, yesterday, I think, was their last show, Bill.
I thought today was her last day.
I think yesterday.
Okay, well, whatever it was, I'm sure she was fantastic. She always is.
Jerry Nicholson, good
Wait a minute,
morning.
you know,
yes.
Sharon Stein.
Sharon.
She's dedicated.
She's getting ready.
Always here. You know where she was last Sunday?
Where?
She's at the beach. Well, I'm here in San Antonio in 106-degree weather, preaching the gospel, changing lives. Sharon is down at the beach, and I'm sure that husband of hers, I'm sure he was right there with her. But I went on anyway, folks. Besides that, it's a ways to get to the beach here. And but anyhow, now go ahead.
Anthony Golden, good morning.
Good morning to Anthony and Derek.
Derek Kustra, yes, I already said that. Mary Zastro, good morning.
Mary.
Yes, she's living the happy life.
I think they're going to be getting married, aren't they?
Yes.
Or did they get married, or are they just engaged?
I know they're engaged. I
Okay.
don't think they've gotten married yet.
Well, her husband broke down and asked to be my friend last week. So I said, definitely.
Paulette Cup, good morning.
Paulette!
She's
We're going to remember her in prayer this morning for those knees and what all she needs to be done. God made that body. He can heal the body. I ask that God in her stands up and begins a healing in that body.
Tammy Meyer and her husband Craig.
Yeah, I don't, Sherry, all I know is they're on vacations.
All the
They're
time.
in Wisconsin, and now football's starting. They go all the way to Green Bay.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Packers. And
That's
Sue
excellent.
Irby Robar, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
girl.
Sue Irby.
Robar
McFadden.
McFadden, Robar.
God, we're going to make it sound like she's been married a dozen times. Well, I'm happy to wish her a happy birthday. She's still a year older than me. And Sherry, Sue and I had some great times.
Oh, yes.
Up there in Rockford, especially when you wouldn't talk to me or anything else. I could go over there and Sue and I would make popcorn and have a great time. Have a great time. Always loved her.
Poor
and
Sue.
a happy birthday to her.
Good morning, Danny James. Tammy Meyer says she loves the tie.
Well, the only reason you can see it like this is Sherry makes me do it with my coat open.
That's so you can see the tie. Everybody wants to see
And
it.
I'm dressing for you, Tammy. I'm dressing for you.
Joe Sumter and Jackie, they're watching. And yes, Jack Friedman.
I want to talk about Jack for a second.
YouTube.
Well, first, I guess it's like our YouTube, which is getting bigger every week, by the way. But I'd like to talk about Jack for a second. You know, Jack has been with us from when we started, and before that, he was in the theater for years doing props and acting and everything. And I just want to give him props today. He is one of the most giving people I've ever seen. And when it comes to theater, you need props or whatever, and he just, even sometimes to not his advantage. People take advantage of him, but you know what? He stays the same. He's a giver. He's a great man. I love Marcy. I love his family. And he does this for the same pay as you and I, Sherry.
Yes.
Somebody goes, you get paid? No, neither does Jack. Neither does Jack, but I love him. He knows that. And I'll be there for him whenever he needs me. I'll be there. All right, Sherry, anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you...
Sue Irby Robar says, we never married, LOL. As much time as you spent over there. Now, she was trying to comfort you.
Well, most of the time she was.
Al Brown, good morning.
And good morning to Al. He's out shoplifting probably this early in the morning.
Jack Friedman said he loves us.
And we love him. We sincerely do. Not because of what he does for us, but I just like Jack. I've always liked him. That doesn't mean there wasn't times in the theater, Sherry, I wanted to send him to heaven early. But I still loved him.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you there like that, Sherry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. And we also want to remember Jeff McLaughlin. He wants prayer. And let's remember him in prayer. It's an unspoken request. And I've been praying for him. And let's all pray for him and get the victory in whatever that situation is. Also, Lisa Peterman up in the hospital here is battling, and we're believing for the victory.
Yes.
For the victory in that. She needs a miracle. She needs a miracle. And then your Aunt Dorothy, you said, was having trouble breathing or something yesterday. But this weather all over, I can only imagine. And so we want to remember her in prarer.
Al Brown said, yes, he is.
He's already shoplifting, huh? Well, we have too many people, but I'd love to see a profile of everybody that watches our program.
They're all great.
I think it would be as interesting as anything I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
And then this past week, I got a message, and then I don't know if he called me or I returned the call on the message, and wanted me to join their organization.
Oh, well.
Somebody said, what's so funny? I'm just watching Sherry, watching all that excitement in her when I'm talking about this.
We've been...
You know, Sherry, how many organizations in our life have we been invited to join?
We've joined quite a few.
No, we haven't joined quite a few.
We joined and paid and made them...
We did that one time for Dr. Gene Scott.
Yes.
And, but everybody from Church of God in Christ, the largest black organization in the entire world, by the way, Assembly of God, Jimmy Swaggart himself made the pitch.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, I've been the Lone Ranger, I feel like, most of this time. I'm going to stay that way. Besides that, you're my people. I'm not backing off, and I'm not backing off of what I preach or what I teach for anyone. I do it for you. I do it for you. I want to, maybe for the first time ever, Sherry, I'm going to tell them how you and I have been blessed in our life. Not with what we have, but how we did it. The method. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's...
Proverbs.
Oh, we know.
Proverbs 29 and 18 starts out with their, and you need to highlight this scripture and memorize it. It's one of the most important scriptures, I think, in the entire Bible. And it's where there is no vision, the people perish. When you lose your vision, folks, you're going to die. I mean, that's just as simple as it is, because there's nothing to keep you here. I'll never forget Sam, Sherry, on the Christmas season, and we were in, I think our last show, I believe, was in Austin, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And I went up the next morning to get Sam, and we had to catch this flight if he was going to be home for Christmas. And so when I came up and he opened the door, I could tell he had been weeping. And I said, Sam, what are you doing? And he had quit drinking. He wasn't drinking. And all he said to me to start with was, I don't have a ginger. I don't have a ginger. He thought ginger was the perfect little girl, and she was. But Sherry, I'll always remember that. What he was telling me is that, and I think he had a premonition that something was going to happen to him, and he was trying to find out what he could get a hold of to stay and not die. And he thought, Bill has ginger. That's what keeps him going. And he was right. He was right about that, about keeping me going. And the reason I say that is, without a vision, you have to have something that you need to stay here. You can't just float through life, because you're going to float right into death. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Now, you have within you the infinite power of God. And please listen to every word that you can possibly listen to. But you have the infinite power of God to bring into existence whatever good that you want to be, you want to do, and you want to have. What if I was able to stand here this morning and tell each one of you that's watching me, you can have whatever you want. First thing you'd all be doing is, most of you be going, he's lying. I've been without my whole life. I'm going to be that way the rest of my life. You see, in this lesson, I've outlined 4 steps to help bring you the good that you want into existence. 4 simple little steps. And Sharon and I do this. Well, it's not something, we've done this, sure, probably, I guess, since we've been married, or even before then. This has been our thing, and it's never failed. These steps, though, they must have to become a part of you. Study and meditate what I'm going to tell you for the next 20 minutes or whatever it is. Study and meditate upon every step each day. Not going to take you long. May change your life. You see, as you discipline and condition your mind in this way, the good that you desire will come to you in ways that the Bible said. Paul said in Romans 11:33 that he would get them to you in ways that are past finding out. So if you can't figure out how you're going to be a millionaire, don't worry about it. Because God has ways that are past your understanding of helping you bring that to you. Now, I grew up in a church, as you all know. I grew up with church folks, and we were Pentecostal church folks, and I'm not going to say much about them, except, that they would ask God for something. They would be earnest about it, and they'd be praying, and they'd be crying, and everything else to ask God to give them whatever it was they were asking for. Then they went in their prayer with this: if it's the Lord's will. How many times you ever heard that, Sherry? You got somebody even wants prayer. I need a miracle in my body. I want you all to pray that if it's God's will, He'll heal me. Well, I got good news for you. The first thing you need to be convinced of, it's God's will. I'm not going to give you all the scriptures that says that, but He did say, I'll give you the desires of your heart. It's God's will that you be who you want to be, you do what you want to do, and you have what you want to have. That's God's will. Now, there's 4 steps. You can write these down. First, step number 1, decide. Decide it. Your decision defines what you want. You have to decide. What do I want? That's the first step. Second step is believe it. Belief is a mental acceptance. Mentally accept it now. I've never understood folks how, Sherry, they sit in church and they have nothing. And we've seen a lot of those folks. And they're They're not healthy. They're not wealthy. They don't have all this stuff going on. And then they can't decide what they want. Then it has to get to believing. Then you have to believe and accept it right now. You don't have to wait for it. See it is the third step. See it in your mind. You know what? When Sherry and I want to buy a new vehicle, you know what we do? We go out and we sit inside the vehicle and we smell the new in the vehicle. And Sherry, there's two purchases that I guess that we made that really stuck out to me in our life. First one was the first new Cadillac that we bought. And you have to understand, we looked like we were 15 years old. And we didn't necessarily want a Cadillac, but I was in a situation with her dad, and he was getting his Cadillac worked on, and this young salesman came out because we'd been painting on his duplex, and so we looked like we were bums, and he wanted us off the lot. And I've told the story, so I won't get into it and everything else, but we ended up leaving the lot with a car, a brand new Cadillac, that was below cost. You say, why? We decided we want a Cadillac. We mentally pictured ourselves with that Cadillac. Then we saw it in our mind. We saw it. The fourth step, feel it. Feel it in your heart. And I'm going to tell you something. You will literally feel it. It'll be like something that you can't wait for it to come. The excitement. Feel it. First, decide what it is that you want. A very simple question to ask yourself every day, and Sharon and I do this, by the way. But we'll ask ourselves every day this. What do we want today? Ask yourself that question every day. What do I want? What do I want? Although this is a simple question, many people never have answered that question for themselves. Many people can't decide what it is they want. Well, if you can't decide it, you're not going to get it. Many others believe that no matter what they want, they can't have it. For whatever reason, they're not good enough. They're not serving God well enough. I mean, I can give you all kinds of excuses. So this holds them back from getting what they really want in their life, and they'll go through their life never having the house they wanted, the car they wanted, the money they wanted, the job they wanted. They'll go through their life and never have that stuff, thinking that God is holding it back from them. But you know what I'm telling you? I'm telling you to leave all of those thoughts of I can't behind. Get it out of your vocabulary. Get it away from you. Tell yourself you can be, and you can do, and you can have what you want. Sometimes I find it necessary to shock people into making a decision. I mean, I've done all kinds of things, try to get people to make a decision. Well, when people come to me and they're undecided in their minds oftentimes, I'll say to them, what in the hell do you want? Somebody said, wait a minute. You're a minister. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of God. I'm not perfect, but I am a child of God. Now listen. So they don't expect to hear a minister cuss. And you know what? Some people get so shocked that they'll blurt out, I don't know. And I'll tell them that is the problem. That's the first problem. Know and decide what you want. How in the world are you going to get something if you haven't decided what it is that you want? For this lesson, let's say that your goal is to have your own business. Just for this lesson. It may not be your goal, but we'll use that as an example. Well, then if you want a business, and that's your goal, I want you to write down the type of business you want. and write down the date when you will start your business. Now listen, make plans for the grand opening. Decide on the part of town that you want to have your business in. You want to have your office in. If you don't want your own business, decide in your mind exactly what you want and write it down. Folks, I've got things written down from 50 years ago. I literally do. Write it down. Whatever it is, if maybe you want a new house. Maybe you don't want a business. Maybe you want a new house. Maybe you want a vacation. Maybe you want more education. Whatever it is, decide your goals right now. Decide those goals today and write them down so you can have them before you as a daily reminder of what is yours. Step 2, believe it. Believe it. Belief is a mental acceptance. It's not something you fast and pray and everything else and you try to get belief and try to believe. No. Belief is a mental acceptance. When you believe in something, you mentally accept it for yourself. To accomplish your goals and achieve your good purposes, you have to believe. You have to mentally accept what you want. Somebody said, that just sounds like a cop-out. Well, you decide whatever it sounds like. I'm telling you what has worked for Sherry and I for 50 years. Don't be discouraged by those around you who tell you you cannot accept your goals. And that usually will come from your family and your close friends. It's more jealousy than it is anything. Remember that the world is full of wonders that people said could not be done. Believe in the infinite power of God in you. Believe in that. It's right here. People trying to, get you to believe in something that you probably not going to happen. When you believe, you can achieve any and every goal that you set for yourself. Believe. Now, I'm not going to give you a big hard way to believe. I'm telling you how easy it is. Many people like to say to me, when you believe in yourself, or this is what many people have heard me tell them, when you believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. It's up to you. My whole life, I've lived that. My whole life, I've lived that. Many people write to me and tell me, Bill, I want more for myself, but I don't have enough education to accomplish my goals. I remind them of a lot of millionaires, even some billionaires, don't have much education, and that didn't hold them back. Many people use the lack of education as an excuse. And remember what I say, nothing is as bad as a good excuse. So get rid of those excuses. Don't let the lack of formal education hold you back. If you want something great enough, you will find a way. See it. Third step, see it. Close those eyes and start visualizing. Use the technique of visualization. You must see the goals you have set for yourself. You have to first see it. Get that in your mind. As Flip Wilson used to say so well, what you see is what you get. That was Reverend Flip Wilson. Well, I call him Reverend. I think he did more preaching than most preachers I ever listened to. Go into that theater of your mind and see yourself walking into your new office to take charge. See yourself as the boss behind your desk. Visualize your bank account bulging with lots and lots of money. Just visualize it. I used to have folks years ago, probably can't do it today, COVID took care of everything, but I used to have them go down and sit in the bank. If you don't have money, go down and sit in the bank. Watch people come in and bring their money, and then watch them, other people come and get money and leave with their money. You know what it does? It prepares your mind for the thought, wait a minute, there's a lot of money in this world. There's a lot of money in this world, and I want my part. You see, feel it. Feel it. See what you want and feel yourself experiencing it. Sharon and I get all giddy. We get giddy. We're giddy most of the time because we've done this so much. We know that when we want something, how to bring it to us. Feel your good purposes in your heart. Down in here, feel it. It's going to excite you. And of course, seeing and feeling is the subjective depth of your being and going together. See what you want and feel yourself experiencing it. For example, one of my favorite techniques that I teach I told you, for getting a new car is mentally sit in that new car and enjoy the smell of that new car smell. Feel the good you desire in your heart and open the eye of your mind. The theater, I like to call it the theater of your mind. I got a whole world that goes on in this theater of my mind. To the presence and power of God within you. Man, we have been delayed so much in our life by preachers didn't know what they were doing, didn't know what they were saying. And they were just, they'd pray for you, and then at the end of that, they'd throw in a Jesus name like it was a magic word. When the whole time he goes, I'm in you. You have my power in you. Too many times, people want to put the responsibility for their decisions on somebody else. Well, I can't do this, and I can't do that because of my boss, or because of this person. Some of us even go so far as to blame somebody way up there in the sky somewhere for why we're like we are. No, it's your fault. And you can just as easily get out of that. The important teaching here, the important thing to take away this morning is that you have to decide it. You have to believe it. You have to see it, and you have to feel it. That's what we're taking away this morning. That's what I'm trying to get you to know. We give you practical applications. In this ministry, we not only give you theories, but we show you how to work with those theories. What I give to you, I know it works for me. It has worked for me my entire life. Sue knew me when I first got in the ministry. Actually, I think she probably met me before I got in the ministry. And she can verify that pretty much whatever Sherry and I have wanted in our life, we have got. Not that people gave it to us. No. It came from the power of that God within us. That's what I depend on. I don't worry about the economics. Or Biden can try to purdy it up and call it Biden economics or whatever it is. Whatever he's got is bad. So I'm not worried, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about inflation. You say why? I've got the answer to get through all this. And Sherry and I are doing fine, and we're going to be fine. Why? We don't depend on the things of the world. We depend on that God within us. Man, decide, believe, see, feel the things that you want to be, that you want to do and to have. Open your mind to the guidance of that divine mind inside of you. Open that mind. so much power there. It will direct you to what you to do, what you need to do. Cooperate with that God within you. He'll cause you to be blessed more than you've ever thought about being blessed. Some of you don't even look at it as millions of dollars pertaining to you at all. But it can. It can. Somebody said, well, you know, you're on a program. You got thousands that watch every Sunday, so you're doing fine. I don't ask for one penny. You say, why? I don't have to. God has always taken care of us. When I say us, I mean Sherry and I. We wanted to buy a new condo. We bought it brand new. Then in a matter of a year or two, we turned around and gave it to another preacher. Gave him this brand new condo. And then we went out the other day, I stopped and figured out. Sit down and list it up. And Donna Weiss was our realtor and still is family to us. But I sat down and I figured out that Sherry and I had bought and sold 13 properties in LA and or in Southern California, and we didn't even realize it. Yet God continued to take care of us. The miracles we got when we had that theater, the miracles that we had in every church that we pastored. Sometimes it was a miracle to even open the doors. The day before we were to sign the papers there in Peoria, Illinois, and that church just burnt down. Of course, that was over 40 years ago. But you know what? We were $10,000 short on our down payment. God sent somebody from Oklahoma that said his name wasn't important. And he opened up a briefcase, gave me $10,000, said God told him. He was looking for a priest, but he said God told him to go to St. Patrick's Church in Peoria, Illinois, and give the pastor there $10,000. That was me. I went down to pray. The day before we were signing these papers, and I'm in there walking around just praying and talking to God. And all of a sudden, I'm in the balcony. Somebody comes in and goes, "Where's the pastor?" And I said, "Well, I'm up here," and then went on through it and ended up handing me $10,000. All he wanted me to do was take him back to the airport. Never gave me his name. Said that wasn't important. Could have been an angel from God. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Sherry and I never doubted that the money would be there. We've lived our life so many times like that. Then God spoke to my heart one day. Says, "Time for you to do something else." And I went out to California to manage my brother Sam. And when I got out there, he was making $35 a night. And I go, "Sam, you don't have anything here to manage. How are you going to pay me?" And then he said something. "Bill, the reason I want you out here is you know how to be successful. And I want you to do that for me. You made me to believe that you knew." And Sam struggled. His up till the time he hit, he struggled in life. But you know what happened? God started speaking. I didn't even know this business yet. God started telling me what moves I can make. And Sam got the dream that I did, that he'd be the biggest comedian out there. And I had that dream from the first time I seen him do comedy 7 years before down in Houston, Texas. Let me tell you something. It will work for you. You don't have to be me. You don't have to have me there to tell you. It's down in your heart. It's where God is that's trying to give you all this. You know, I often wonder about the lottery. People going and giving their money to the lottery, and I thought, man, if anybody would use these principles, I think they'd win the lottery. I really do. So folks, listen. I have an affirmative treatment that I read every morning, and sometimes at night, but I do it every morning. And I'll give it to you, and you can write it down later and have it. And every morning I read this. Right here and right now, I know exactly what I want. I have decided it in my heart and mind. I believe it in the good that I desire. I see and feel myself being what I want to be, doing what I want to do, and having what I want to have. My positive thinking leads me to positive action, and I get positive results. Thank you, God in me. That's what I'm all about. Today, this is what I'm all about. Folks, Sherry and I were not born with silver spoons in our mouth. We were not born with parents that had all kinds of money. We did not come into this world living on the best side of town. But you know what? God took care of us every bit of the way. Sherry, everything that we've done, we decided to get married. We've been, dating like 4 years, I think. And we decided to get married. Preachers started calling her and said they seen her in a casket if they married me. Show you how fickle they were. They came to our wedding, and then this guy has the nerve to prophesy how God had brought us together and how He was going to bless us. And I was like, what in the hell? This is the same guy that called you in the middle of the night, and she's about to call off the wedding. And I said, there's not some preacher going to decide if we get married or not. That's up to us. But sure, we did all that. We bought new homes. I'll never forget, and I'll close with this. You were with me. We were at the Grammys. Back then, I think it was still in the Shrine Temple, wasn't it?
I think so, Shrine Auditorium.
Yeah, Shrine Auditorium. And we were not favored to win. We were what they called a long shot. And it was on an album I had put together of Sam after he had died. And I'll never forget, Sherry, I'm sitting there, and you'll always remember this, but I was sitting there and my mother went with us. That may not have been the brightest thing in the world for us, but we took her with us. And I remember they were getting ready for the winner of the best spoken word comedy album. And I remember I had my head down, and all I could think of was hearing the name Kinison. Hearing the name Sam Kinison. That's all I could think of. Hear the name Sam Kinison. And then the other side of me was I want to be cool if I won. I'd like to tell you standing here that I knew I had it wrapped up. No, I was actually begging. And then I heard the winner was Sam Kinison. And to receive the Grammy is his brother Bill Kinison, who produced, and Bill and Sherry Kinison that produced this album. Sherry, I really believe to this day, I thought and prayed and believed and felt and saw that we were going to win that. And it sits here in our house that we were going to win that Grammy. That can work for every part of your life. Every part of your life. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your knowledge that you give to us. Knowledge is power, and you give us the power to exceed anything that we would ask or think. It belongs to us. Let these words find a fertile ground, and let the seed spring forth with whatever they desire in their heart. Those that need a healing, give them a healing today. Today. Let them look around and go, I'm healed. Today. And I'll give you all the praise. Amen. God love you. Sherry, I guess you love them. I always speak for you.
I love them. Love you all. See you next Sunday.
We'll be here.
Have a happy day.
If the Lord wills. No, we're going to be here. We're going to be here. We love you. We'll see you next Sunday.
Eat all the cake, Sue. Eat it all for me. If you've got some birthday cake.
Oh, I'm sure they do.